A major warming trend is expected as we go through this week, with temperatures much warmer than we've seen all winter long, going all the way back to December. And we're going to be seeing a very big turnaround in an active weather pattern. Very quiet right now, will be turning very active as we enter into March. And this could bring severe weather outbreaks and a heavy snowstorm to parts of the United States as we enter into the new month. Hey everyone, welcome back here to Weather on the Go. My name is Hunter, and to subscribe to the channel because we are going to have a lot of weather for you here over the next several days, and you can get the latest information, the latest reliable, accurate weather information on this channel, so make sure to subscribe to the channel. We're only 341 subscribers away, by the way, from hitting 129,000. You want to help me get there today? Make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, give it a thumbs up if you find it informative, and share this video with friends, family, and on social media. I definitely do appreciate it. Let's look here at our temperatures today. Look at the anomalies across the United States and really much of southern Canada as well. Can't complain. A lot of warmer than normal temperatures out here for today. Let's look at the central U.S. A lot of 60s out here across portions of the central southern plains into the 70s and 80s. Yes, we're still cooler up here into North Dakota, Minnesota, and Wisconsin into the 30s and 40s, but we are not going to be that cold at all compared to what we have seen. This is a very nice day up here regardless. Now looking here at the western U.S., we are going to be pretty chilly further to the north, but again, it's been much colder, so this is a nice step in the right direction if you want warmer temperatures. 80s returning widespread across southern California, southern Nevada, and Arizona, even over into New Mexico this afternoon. Now finally, the eastern U.S., denser snowpack still on the ground up here across Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, and upstate New York, and rightfully so, our temperatures will be held down into the 30s, potentially the mid 30s even, in parts of these areas, so our snowpack will be dwindling a little bit by a few inches this afternoon. But look at areas that are snow-free for the most part. The lower Ohio River Valley, mid-Atlantic, the southeast, even Florida. Widespread 50s, 60s, and 70s out there for high temperatures this afternoon. Now let's look here at why we're seeing the warmer air. We have the big ridge of high pressure across the western U.S. promoting our warmer temperatures. Troughs in the blue, that typically means we have active weather and cooler than normal temperatures. Notice our polar vortex all the way up here in toward the Arctic and Greenland. And looking here at our temperature anomalies going through the rest of this week. Here's today. We noticed we got some warmer air that'll continue as we go into tomorrow. Another step northward with our 50 and 60 degree line further to the north into the Midwest and the northern plains. Now as we go into Wednesday, we just continue that warming trend, and that just continues into Thursday and Friday as well. Friday could be our warmest day, potentially seeing some record-breaking highs here in some areas further up towards the north. Now let's look here at our ridge placement because this is important. We have a trough over here in the northeast Pacific, and over top, the apex of this ridge is going to be our storm track from northwest to southeast. So from southern Canada into the upper Midwest, Great Lakes, the Ohio Valley, and then turning up through the northeast. That is our storm track as we go through this week. Notice that is depicted very well here on our precipitation anomaly map, where we have a lot of active weather, a lot of green, even blue over here into the western coastline of Canada, including Yukon and British Columbia. A lot of green up in southern Canada here in the provinces, and then northern U.S. But look at on the the eastern side of the ridge, we're seeing a lot of drier air further to the east here into Dixie Alley and much of the southeast. Now underneath of that, we do have some wetter weather in southern and central Florida. And by the way, that could bring us a little bit of some severe weather as we go through today. So going through today, we have a little bit of snow up here into portions of Hudson Bay, into eastern Ontario and Quebec. Rainfall down here in the Sunshine State of Florida. Yeah, not seeing a lot of sunshine down there today. And then across the Pacific Northwest as we go through the afternoon as well. Going into Tuesday, the rainfall will stick around at least during the morning hours there in Florida. So a wet start to the day. Have a little bit of some unsettled weather across the northern U.S. in general. But notice the deep south, the Dixie Alley in particular, very dry as we go through the week here. And you can see on Wednesday, maybe some rain or snow for Chicago. Thursday, that continues across the Northeast, so places like Detroit, Indianapolis, over there toward Buffalo, Pittsburgh, up there toward Caribou, Maine, could see some precipitation as we go into late this week on Thursday. And then Friday, another strong clipper system bringing rain and or snow showers will continue to drop from northwest to southeast, like we noted with our storm track across Manitoba into Ontario. Mostly rain into the Great Lakes region, but we could have some snow up there into the upper peninsula of Michigan, where that colder air is trapped further up there toward the north. Now, we are watching the potential for some isolated strong to severe storms. No severe weather outbreaks, okay? I want to stress that to you. No severe weather outbreaks, but we do have the potential for some isolated tornadoes here in southern Florida and the Florida Keys. Thunderstorms are possible here today across portions of South Dakota, southern Minnesota, Iowa, and western Illinois. And these are not likely to be severe. These are likely just your garden variety, everyday type of thunderstorms. And then here across the Pacific Northwest in the dark green from northeast Oregon, southeastern Washington into northwest Idaho, we have a chance for a gusty wind, some smaller hail, and an isolated brief tornado threat up there too. Now, the precipitation going to be pretty few and far between, especially the further south you go in the U.S. Unless you're in Florida, going to be seeing around 1 to 3 inches of rain down here in south central Florida. Very dry along the Gulf Coast states back here towards Texas and the desert Southwest. Okay, that is noted as we go through the week. Otherwise, the Pacific Northwest, Seattle, Portland, Eugene, Medford, northwestern California there could be getting some pretty hefty amounts of rainfall. And then there's our northwest storm track. A lot of this will be falling as snow. Could be seeing a few inches of snow there for southern Canada, the Great Lakes region, and interior parts of New England, northwest of the I-95 corridor. Here's Canada's view of the snow. Heaviest snow up here into coastal Alaska, Yukon, and British Columbia here in the mountain ranges out here in western British Columbia. Could be seeing over 100 inches worth of snow just this week, and then a thin area of potentially 2 to 6 inches of snow from the Northwest Territories down here across portions of Saskatchewan, Manitoba, Ontario, and into Quebec as we go through the week. Now, going into next week, very interesting as we turn the page to early March, we're going to see a big warm-up continue here, and then a trough diving in across the West Coast and all the way down into the Four Corners region, and that is going to bring some colder air at the surface, but also aloft, and that is going to be troublesome because this is going to bring more precipitation into areas that really don't need it, right? Kentucky, Tennessee, Arkansas, inundated by saturated soil really over the past week or two with devastating flooding, and we have dark green over your area again. Now, this also could produce some heavy rainfall further south into California, some areas that do still need some of this moisture. But something we're continuing to keep an eye on is the positioning of that trough axis, because this could actually produce some severe weather and the potential for another severe weather outbreak here as we go into early March around that 4th of March timeframe. Notice here on the European model, very amplified is the look of the jet stream. This is your 500 millibar mid-level jet, and when it looks like that, we could have a couple of things happen. We could have some heavy snowstorms to the north where the cold air is still there, and then you have a potent low pressure system, maybe an ice storm track, and then to the south of there where you have the warm, moist, and unstable air, some severe weather with heavy rainfall that could also lead to some flash flooding. So let's look here at the European model first. This is more suppressed to the south. Not much of a snowstorm track to this, but this would lead to more severe weather for places like Arkansas, eastern Texas, along and east of the I-35 corridor, into Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and Tennessee. We need to be watching out if the European model did verify. Heavy rain set up again, unfortunately, for our friends in Kentucky, with maybe a thin area of snow from Ontario up there toward Montreal later next week. What does the GFS model show? It's a little bit more amplified, a little bit further north of a system. This would bring the severe weather and triple point setup for severe weather up into western Illinois, northern Missouri, cold front severe weather down through Arkansas, East Texas into Louisiana here. This would be more of a damaging wind, but also tornado and hail setup, and then more of a winter storm up toward the Twin Cities, into places there like Sioux Falls, even Lincoln, Nebraska on the backside there. So that is what we're looking at for the weather. That's all I have for you today. We are continuing to track the latest on some stronger storms in southern Florida and the Pacific Northwest. Some of these could bring gusty winds, hail, and a couple isolated tornadoes, maybe even some water spouts there for southern Florida. Warming trend this week. Then watching that big storm into next week for the early part of March. That could bring a significant severe weather outbreak and potentially a significant winter storm with heavy snow and ice as well. So make sure to subscribe to the channel. Follow along with all my detailed, reliable, and accurate weather information. We're only 341 subscribers away from 129,000. You want to help me get there? Make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, give it a thumbs up, especially if you did find it informative, and share this video with friends, family, and on social media. If you want to drop a like down below or a comment down below, make sure that you keep it weather related. All right. Thank you so much for watching, everyone, and I hope everyone has a wonderful and safe rest of your Monday out there.